Hey everyone, today we're hitting the road and leaving New Orleans behind as we head east along the Gulf Coast. It's not a super long drive, but there's a lot to see packed into this stretch. We'll first make a stop at Buc-ee's because you can't just pass up one without grabbing a snack, and then we'll swing by NASA's Infinity Space Center to check out some pretty cool space history. From there we'll cruise right along the coast through Gulfport and Biloxi, with a stop at the iconic Biloxi Lighthouse. We'll also get a taste of the natural beauty at the Gulf Islands National Seashore before finishing the day with dinner over at Orange Beach. It's a road trip with good vibes, good food, and plenty of sights, so let's get started. Heading east, our next stop is the Infinity Science Center, NASA's official visitor center for the Stennis Space Center. At first glance, it might look like a roadside museum, but it's actually the front door to one of the most important rocket testing facilities in the United States. Inside, the exhibits take you through decades of space history. You'll find displays on everything from the Apollo era to today's Artemis program, highlighting how Mississippi became a key player in America's journey to space. Stennis was built in the 1960s to test the massive Saturn V rocket engines that would carry astronauts to the moon. Entire communities were relocated to make room for the facility. And ever since, the roar of the engines have been part of the life along the Gulf Coast. One of the highlights outside is the enormous Saturn V first stage booster on display. Standing beneath it really puts in perspective the sheer size and power needed to launch astronauts beyond Earth's atmosphere. It's a powerful reminder that the moon landings weren't just dreams, but they were engineering feats built piece by piece and tested right here in Mississippi. Step inside and the Science Center offers more than just the rockets. There's a simulated space shuttle experience that gives you a feel for a launch, along with exhibits on robotics, satellites, and the International Space Station. You'll also find displays that focus on Earth science, hurricanes, wetlands, and the unique ecosystem of the Gulf Coast, tying together space and our own planet. The connection between Stennis and NASA's program continues even today. The facility still tests engines for modern rockets, including the RS-25 engines that power the new Artemis missions back to the moon. That means that the rumble of the rocket engines that are heard here today connect directly to the future of human spaceflight. When those tests do happen, you can't miss it. Locals describe how the ground shakes, windows rattle, and even the people miles away feel the vibrations in their chest. It's not just the sound, it's the raw power carried through the earth and sky. In a way, it's the heartbeat of America's space program, felt by the entire community. The Infinity Science Center is more than just a quick stop. It's a place where the history, science, and exploration all come together. It reminds you that while astronauts may get the spotlight, thousands of engineers, scientists, and test facilities like this one made their journeys possible. And for Mississippi, that legacy is worth celebrating. From the Space Center, we head back out into the Gulf and begin one of the most scenic stretches of the trip, the drive along the Mississippi coast through the Gulfport. This stretch of Highway 90 is unlike most anywhere else, the Gulf of Mexico on one side and the rows of live oaks and historic homes on the other. As you make your way through, you can really feel how the coastline has shaped here. The beaches stretch for miles, offering wide views of the white sand and the calm water. It's not just a crashing surf you'd see in Florida or the Atlantic. It's a quieter side of the Gulf Coast. Gulfport itself is Mississippi's second largest city and has long been a hub of shipping and commerce. Founded in 1898, it was originally built as a port city to export yellow pine lumber from inland Mississippi. With the completion of the Gulf and Ship Island Railroad, Gulfport quickly became a center for trade, bringing in goods and sending lumber, cotton, and seafood out to the world. The city also played the role in the rise of the Mississippi seafood industry. By the early 20th century, Gulfport was home to a bustling fishing fleet and seafood canneries. Oysters and shrimp harvested from the Gulf supported families for generations. And even today, you'll see shrimp boats lining the harbor. That heritage is celebrated every year with local festivals and seafood markets that carry on traditions over a century old. But Gulfport wasn't just about industry. It quickly became a destination for early tourists. In the early 1900s, the Gulf Coast grew in popularity as a seaside getaway for families from New Orleans, Mobile, and inland Mississippi. The long stretches of man-made beach built in the 1950s only amplified this, turning the coast into what was sometimes called the Riviera of the South. Resorts, bathhouse, and piers line the waterfront, drawing in vacationers eager to relax along the Gulf breeze. Even today, you can still see hints of that era in the beachfront piers and the parks that remain popular with visitors. Driving through, you'll also notice how this area has been marked for resilience. Hurricane Camille in 1969 and Hurricane Katrina in 2005 brought devastating storm surges that reshaped the coastline. Katrina, in particular, left lasting scars, with nearly every building along the waterfront destroyed. Since then, Gulfport and the surrounding communities have rebuilt stronger, but reminders of the past remain in markers, open lots, and memorials that honor what was lost. Still, there's a very strong sense of pride here. The beachfront is lined with rebuilt piers, public parks, and stretches of man-made beach that date back to the mid-20th century, the longest man-made beach in the world. That's the beach that you'll see here today, drawing families, travelers, and locals out to enjoy the Gulf. Continuing along the Mississippi coast, we arrive at Biloxi, a city that is rich in history that stretches back more than 300 years. Founded in 1699, Biloxi was one of the first French settlements in the region, predating even New Orleans. Its location on the Gulf Coast made it a natural harbor for trade and strategic point for military operations throughout colonial history. Biloxi has long since been associated with the seafood industry. By the 19th century, the city had become a hub for oysters, shrimp, and other seafood, which were shipped across the United States. The docks and canneries brought prosperity to the area, and many families have maintained generational ties to the industry. Even today, the smell of the Gulf and the sight of the fishing vessels take back to this long tradition. In fact, Biloxi was once called the oyster capital of the world, with harvests shipped far beyond the Gulf Coast. The Biloxi Lighthouse is one of the most iconic landmarks along the Gulf. Completed in 1848, it is one of the oldest cast-iron lighthouses in the United States, and has guided countless ships safely through the sometimes treacherous waters of the Mississippi Sound. Originally painted black, it was later changed to white to make it more visible to sailors. During the Civil War, the lighthouse witnessed naval engagements and even served as a lookout point. Over the years, it has survived numerous hurricanes, including the devastating Camille in 1969 and Katrina in 2005. Some locals even claim that the lighthouse is haunted, with stories of ghostly keepers and lost sailors, adding a little spooky charm to its history. The lighthouse still uses a Fresnel lens, one of the most powerful of its kind, helping guide vessels through the Mississippi Sound just as it did in the 19th century. It's a small detail, but these touches of history that make Biloxi so memorable. Biloxi's early tourism also has deep roots. By the early 20th century, the city had become a favored destination for travelers seeking the Gulf Coast's mild climate and sandy shores. Grand hotels, bathhouses, and piers appeared along the waterfront, offering leisure and entertainment for visitors from across the South. The development of casinos in the 20th century added a new layer of the city's economy, transforming Biloxi into one of the premier gaming destinations along the Gulf. During the Prohibition in the early 1900s, Biloxi also had a reputation for bootlegging, as well as maritime smuggling due to its proximity to the Gulf and its network of small inlets. Tales of speakeasies, rum runners, and secret docks have become a colorful part of the local lore, reflecting both the challenges and the ingenuity of the city's residents. In addition to the maritime history, Biloxi played a key role in the military operations. The city was home to several naval installations, training facilities, and airfields that were critical during World War II and beyond. These bases not only contributed to the national defense, but also influenced the growth of the local economy, bringing in personnel and supporting industries. Biloxi's role in history extends beyond the storms and commerce. During the early days of the U.S. space program, the Gulf Coast, including Biloxi and nearby Hancock County, played a crucial role in astronaut training and recovery operations. Astronauts practiced water landings in the Gulf of Mexico, while recovery teams trained to retrieve capsules safely. The calm, shallow waters and open coastline made this area an ideal training ground for Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions, quietly connecting Biloxi to one of the most important chapters in American history. Even the lighthouse had a role in this era, guiding ships and support vessels crucial to recovery operations. And while the city has endured hurricanes, floods, and economic shifts, Biloxi has always bounced back. Early tourism, combined with its seafood industry and military significance, helped the city rebuild after each challenge. From its French colonial roots to its maritime, military, and even space contributions, Biloxi offers a layered story of resilience, innovation, and culture. Whether you're admiring the lighthouse, exploring the waterfront, or just soaking in the sights and smells of the Gulf, it's a place where history and modern life converge in a fascinating way. The city's resilience is evident not just in surviving hurricanes and floods, but in how it has rebuilt itself each time. Early tourism helped the city rebound, with visitors drawn to its beaches, seafood, and cultural events. Biloxi has become famous for its casinos, resorts, and festive atmosphere, which developed alongside its working port and historic site. The combination of natural beauty, enduring architecture, and a vibrant community has made Biloxi a city that honors its past while embracing the future. Our journey continues to the Gulf Shores National Seashore, specifically the Davis Bayou area. This part will just be an overview because later we'll dive deeper into both the Davis Bayou and the Fort Pickens area in a full video. For now, we'll explore the highlights and take in the beauty of this protected stretch of the Alabama coastline. In this area, Davis Bayou preserves some of the Gulf Coast's most pristine beaches, marshes, and maritime forests. Walking along the boardwalks and trails, you're surrounded by a rich variety of wildlife, from shorebirds and herons to turtles and even dolphins that can often be spotted just offshore. The winding tidal ways of the bayou are a vital habitat, supporting the delicate balance of this coastal ecosystem. The history of this area is just as fascinating. Long before it became a national seashore, Native American communities relied on these lands and waters for food, trade, and cultural practices. Later, the area was used for small-scale fishing, farming, and timber operations. In the 20th century, local conservation efforts helped preserve the coastline, ensuring that the natural beauty and biodiversity of this area would be protected for future generations. It's also worth mentioning that the boardwalks are designed to minimize impact on the delicate wetlands, and the bayou serves as an important nursery for fish and shrimp that populate the Gulf. Seasonal events bring migratory birds, making it a hotspot for bird watchers, while the maritime forests host unique plant species found only along the Gulf Coast. Davis Bayou offers a peaceful pause along our Gulf Coast adventure. Even in this quick overview, it's clear why this area is such a treasured part of the National Seashore, blending history, ecology, and natural beauty. After a full day of exploring the Gulf Coast, we wrapped up the evening with dinner at Cosmo's in Orange Beach. This cozy spot is known for its fresh, locally inspired dishes that really showcase the flavors of the region. From the Gulf seafood to hearty southern classics, everything on the menu feels thoughtful and made with care. I got the pecan redfish dish, which is encrusted with local pecans and Japanese breadcrumbs, lightly sautéed, and it's also served with a Parmesan risotto and asparagus. The portions were generous, beautifully plated, and full of flavor. It really captures the spirit of Alabama's Gulf cuisine. The atmosphere at Cosmos is relaxed but elegant. Warm lighting, inviting decor, and attentive service makes the perfect spot to unwind after a day of driving and sightseeing along the coast. It's a great place to slow down, enjoy your food, and reflect on the day's adventures. After a day of exploring Biloxi's history, cruising along the Gulf Coast, and soaking in the views, we finished up a delicious dinner at Cosmos in Orange Beach. In the next video, we'll check out more of the Gulf Shores area, Pensacola Lighthouse, and uncover even more hidden gems along this beautiful stretch of the Gulf. Thanks for watching.